Did that one record? Alright, I'm back. Half of my head is back. I got my flange piece that I made. It's primed. I didn't use the epoxy primer, and I didn't go get my can. I got a can of black. They call it epoxy, but it's only a single stage. But anyway, this is a product called Zinc It. It's by Sim, S-E-M, Sim. It's kind of like galvanizing. It's just a sprayed on zinc coating. It's better than having bare metal up under there. I mean, it works for what I'm doing. This little small area. I also sprayed some up in here as much as I could. You know, when I had this big patch cut out, I sprayed all this with epoxy primer, and then the zinc's over here on this little section. Excuse me. The zinc's over here on this section. I also put the copper-based weld-through primer where my spot holes, plug welds are going to go, and same thing right here. So let's get it put up here. I'm using my little Eastwood stitch magnets to hold things in place to get started. I mentioned these magnets before. They're really cool little magnets. I use them quite a bit for stuff like this. I've only ever seen this particular style at Eastwood. There's other magnets I bought, like I've shown, the ones from Amazon, little palm magnets, like chess pieces. Anyway, so when you're fitting these things, it's really important to get the fit just, I don't want to use the word perfect, but get it as good as you can, because you don't want to screw this up and have your alignments and your panels and all out of whack, wonky and all that stuff. So I'm getting set up here. First thing I'm going to do is tack in the corners, because I got my corners where I want them to go. I don't want my corners to be moving and bouncing around on me as I work on the rest of it. So I'm going to tack my two corners first. Then I'll probably run a couple of tacks along this front corner, this front seam, front edge. And then we'll go back here and weld up a couple of these plug welds, clamp it down and weld them up. So one thing about these magnets can mess up your weld bead, your arc, in an electric welder, in a MIG or even a TIG. So they can be kind of annoying if you have a magnet close to where you're welding. So whether I wind up having that problem here or not, I don't know. It's possible. So I may get, my first tack or two might be kind of bad, kind of crappy. Can't find my screwdriver. Anyway, my first couple tacks could be kind of crappy because if the arc goes all crazy. But I'll get a couple tacks up here. Then I can remove the magnet so we can move on. So let's get started. It's almost acting like I don't have no heat. I think this magnet is really screwing me up too. Let me pull the magnet off and then see if I can get a better tack, because that's not a very good tack at all. Now let's see what we can do. That's way better. But I probably still won't have enough heat. But I got my corner tack, that's the main thing. I'm going to put a little tack down on the, and then the flange. Get that corner good and tight. Again, it's kind of hard to see. I need some more heat. When you're welding, even tack welding, especially tack welding, honestly, if you don't have enough heat, your weld blob, which is kind of a puddle blob, will just sit on top of what you're trying to weld in and not get penetration. That's definitely, you don't have enough heat, you just blobbing blobs up on top of your parent metal. You need to increase your heat when you see things like that, which is exactly what I was having here. Now we'll get the other corner. I think that'll do. That's a horrible arc and a horrible weld. If you can see that, it's because of the magnet. It's really screwing my arc up. Now I'm getting up there and get a decent tack. Okay. Got some hot stove. Put it back down. I'll just get a little bit. Okay, now I got to get that so I can see. Alright. Now I'm assuming I can I have to all these but I have to. I'll go along here. I got another gap now, I'm going to long. And get these tacks and start fixing right here. Hold place. I may have to put my teeth on the lower. That'll do. Let me go back down just half what I did. Let me check it with this. Got a ruler / straight edge here. That's actually better than I thought it was. I got a tack weld right in my area that I want to put the ruler down. So I gotta grind this tack weld off. I'm going to weld up these plug welds from the outside. I got about half of it welded up or so on this front seam. I'm going to grind it down and see what I got so far. I'm certain I'm going to expose some pinholes, and I'll finish that and I'll grind the rest of it again. Alright, it's done. The last thing I'm going to do here real quick, I just cut the bottom of this overhang off, the extra on this flange. So I'm just going to clean up the bottom right quick. A little light, a little white in this flange, but it's okay, but it's the same as the flange. I'm not going to get the flange, and I'm going to run the file over this. I want this edge to be nice and smooth. I don't want to be cutting my rubber or anything when I'm going to put my glass in. Now is the time to do it, not after it's painted. When you go to put the glass in and realize how ragged it is. Do it now. Be done with it. Outside and inside. Alright. Okay, here's the patch all welded in. I know there's some light and some glare. I think you can see. I'm struggling to see it myself in the light and the glare and the camera. But anyway, that's it. It's welded in. Let me crawl inside. So it's welded in from the edge. One edge is right here, all the way over to here. The bottom crease is not perfectly straight. It's got a few waves in it. Nothing horrible. Nothing horrible. Nothing that a little bit of filler can't fix. If this was a, you know, an outside, this was an outside seam or an outside, you know, door edge or something where the gaps had to be nice and straight, I would weld it up and get it straight. But inside right here, this edge, I mean, I'm going to build it up a little bit with filler. It's not deep, 1/16 of an inch or so, just to straighten it out. I do want to get it straight though, because all I got to do sitting here driving is look up and see that crooked crease, and that'd drive me crazy. So there's my other panel that I welded in previously. There's the patch. So what's next for me now? I'm going to come back and go ahead and strip the A-pillar, strip the paint off. So when I'm going to prime all this with epoxy primer. Go ahead and strip the A-pillars on both sides. May or may not come back and do the rear B-pillars. They're going to be done at some point, but probably won't be doing it this time. I want to go ahead and get epoxy primer on this. This has only been sitting 2 or 3 days, and it's already getting some flash rust on it from where I've been rubbing it with my hands and just the humidity out here. So I want to go ahead and get some primer on it next day or 2 or 3. I mean, you can see rust fingerprints over there. That's a fingerprint. That's a fingerprint. That's from the humidity and sweat in your hands out here in the summertime. So anyway, I'll probably strip the A-pillars, and then I want to prime all this with epoxy primer. And then I'll come back and I'll wipe the filler on my inner piece. I need put a little filler on here and on the bottom edge of here. Alright, I'm going to run the DA over everything up here that I've welded and stripped the paint off of. Get the grinding marks, what little bit there are, and smooth it down with some 80 grit on a DA. Go over all this, and then I'll be getting ready to prime it. So just, you know, I'll probably fast forward through this. I'm not know if I'll even show it or not, but it's got to be done. So here we go. This is also hard on sandpaper because you're only sanding in this curve. You're only sanding with about the outer third at most of your paper, so you go through paper pretty quick. It's It's just part of it. Ain't nothing you can do about it. I use my wire brush to knock down some of those rust places, surface rust. I want to go ahead and finish stripping this edge of paint right here. You probably can't see. So I'll have that a consistent edge along here. So when I come back and strip the metal, I know where to stop at. This is just 6 degree I'm using to strip this paint. I'm sure I've mentioned it before. I'm not sure if y'all might not have caught it, heard it. I'm skipping around, but I painted this truck twice. And someday I'll get the camera in here and show you. The original color on this truck was that real kind of light pale green. Well, you actually could see it right here if I had the camera showing it. I'll show it later. Anyway, it was a pale green, and then we repainted it in the early 80s, a darker two-tone green. And then him and I both really liked that green, and finally decided. I painted a bunch of cars back in the 80s a certain red color. He really liked that red, so he decided to paint it red. So I painted inside this truck twice. The dark green, metallic, and then the red. So here I am doing it for a third time. That's why I'm stripping the paint off. There's too many layers of paint on here now. I could probably get away with it, but it's three layers of paint, the original, and 2 more repaints. And it's time to get it stripped. Stripping this roof's gonna be a bear. I ain't looking forward to doing it at all. Hopefully I'll get the cab off and turn it upside down and do it that way. That's really the only way to do it. The best way to do it, as far as comfort and all that mess. Not comfort, fatigue. Alright, so there we go. It's all DA'd down. So the next thing is to prime it. Not today. I'll be coming back tomorrow and shooting some primer. So I will see you tomorrow. Alright, I'm going to prime the inside and the A-pillars. Yesterday I went ahead and stripped the top of the dash, so I'm going to epoxy prime that as well. I'm going to run the camera. I mean, I'll probably just fast forward through this, but I'll run the camera. Can't talk with a mask on, obviously, and you know, it's boring anyway. Anyhow, set up to do that. That's one coat. I'm not going to show the second coat. I'll come back when I got it all done. Alright, I'm finished epoxy priming. Got the inner roof panel epoxy primed. 2 A-pillars, top of the dash, some across the top of the door jambs, but you really can't see. I wanted to get all this primed. So that's done. So I guess my next thing I'll do, at least on this part of the truck, on the inner roof, I'll be wiping that filler on the patch I put in, straightening out a few of the little waves, a couple little small pinholes that are still poking through. Some are from welds, some are from rust that just, you know, that's a hard place to do upside down like that and get it perfect. So anyway, I'll be doing that next. So this is the end of the video. So anyway, I'll be doing that next. So for now, that's the end of this video. So anyway, thanks for being here. I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. I hope you learned something. If these long videos are boring you, let me know in the comments. I'm trying to be more detailed and show stuff that a lot of people don't show. So anyway, thank you. I appreciate it. If you watched till the end, you got to this part, thank you very much. I appreciate you sticking with me all the way through. And I will catch you on the flip side. Y'all come back now, you hear? See you.